learning. Right, beautiful. Now we're going to our incredible, incredible Miss Shekinah. Miss Shekinah, representing Rwanda.
Hello.
Our lovely class teacher, eloquent, elegant, and it's awesome to have you here today, Miss Shekinah. Should I call it this Shekinah?
Shekinah, yes. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much for
so
having me.
much. Thank you for your service, first of all. That's what I like to say to every teacher. Thank you for your service. In the US, they reserve that for veterans and people, people who are, in the army, navy. But I reserve it for teachers in Nigeria, all over Africa. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all you do. So, you ready for your quick fire questions, Ms. Shakina?
Sure. Sure.
Okay. So, what one word would your students use to describe you?
Amazing.
Amazing. Oh, I've seen
Amazing.
into the heart of the children because I called you amazing. You're amazing. That's
I
beautiful.
try to be an amazing teacher, the one that I wish I had. That's what
Oh,
I try to be
it's
for my students. Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. What's your favorite subject to teach or talk about?
Well, I teach, for those who don't know, I teach in the nursery.
Oh,
And yeah,
beautiful.
and it's always flexible. Like you have different groups from
Yes.
nursery one to nursery three. So you teach basically everything in the nursery section.
Yes. About the
Yeah.
developmental goals for the,
Yeah.
for the younger one. That's awesome. Okay then. Great. If you had to describe African teachers in one word, what would it be? African teachers. You're an African teacher. In one word, what would it be?
Okay, as somebody said that education is evolving a lot.
Mhm.
In some parts of Africa, I would say traditional.
Mm,
In the other part, I would say um, modern, as we are evolving. Some
okay.
teachers in Africa are being more open and open-minded, are being more
Very good.
inquiry-based teachers, while others are still traditional. When I say traditional, you understand what I mean.
Of
So
course.
yes, so it's not like I could use one word, but I would say evolving. I would say
Evolving. I love
motherly.
that.
I'll also say motherly because
Oh,
In Africa, we have our own mother instinct. I don't know for
yeah.
the white, but there is this mother love that we feel from
Absolutely.
our
We're
mother, from our
nurturers. We're
African women. Yes.
lovely. So we're evolving so that it's becoming more student-centered than teacher-centered, but also we're nurturing and we're evolving. That's beautiful. One last part question. If you could have dinner with any famous teacher in history, who would it be?
I once had a teacher in secondary, and the teacher was what we used to say bitter. We used to call her a bitter
Hmm.
teacher. She was
Wow.
really bitter, and she made me hate school for some reasons. And for now, when you ask that question, she came in my mind because I would like to understand now that I'm in the education sector. I understand what it is to be an educator. I would
Hmm.
want to know what drove her to become a teacher. Why is it that she looked like she didn't have fun? She was having the worst
Hmm.
moment of her life and she stayed in education. If the way the kids make me feel, and we couldn't do that to her, I would want to have that conversation and with her and maybe get her own perspective. If
Hmm.
you, yeah. So if I had a chance to choose, I would like to talk to her and understand why, and yeah,
You know,
and
I,
tell her
I
I'm a teacher now and understand maybe what she went through. But I would also want to know what
I
she's.
absolutely love that because
Mhm.
you're wondering why she was in education. You're in education, you love what you do, being with the kids and everything. And why did she hate it so much? Honestly, I
Yes.
think it's beautiful. One would, and also that's also being someone that has a heart. Like there must be a reason behind what were you going through? What was the issue? What didn't you know? You know?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. All right then, Miss Shikin, I'm going to ask you a few questions, a couple of questions we're going to answer quite briskly, so I'm going to be able to come back to you for the second round. So, what inspired you to become a teacher? Maybe it was Miss Bitter or Mrs. Bitter, the bitter woman. What inspired you to become a teacher? And what keeps you motivated? in the classroom?
Okay. So one thing that made me want to become a teacher, it's the first child that I dealt with. I wasn't a teacher by the time. I was helping this child because he had autism, and I was working at this school. I was dealing more with the parents than the school. And the child required a lot of communication, a lot of patience, a lot of reading. And I didn't know what I was doing. I had to read a lot about autism and whatnot. So within the whole journey, I looked at the bond that we made together. I looked at the impact that I actually had on him without having any like the skill or the knowledge. I looked at how far we came, and I looked at how the parents saw him in a different way. It's like they had, I don't know, how can I say it? It's like they had lost hope in a way, you understand? So
Yeah.
when I saw the whole journey and the whole impact that I had on that child, I was like, yes, I think I just found my calling. That is when I decided to start my bachelor's in early childhood development education. That child, my Alexander, is my inspiration to become a
Oh,
teacher. I was like, I have
fan-
to do this.
that's
So, yeah,
awesome.
so that's what made me want to become a teacher. Now, what keeps me motivated?
Yeah.
I would say it's the joy of seeing these young learners have on their faces when they
Mm,
overcome something, when they gain the confidence,
mm,
when they fear and you go with it, with them, and you go through it together, and at the end of the day they're happy. When I hear the feedbacks from the parents, when I hear the feedback from the school, when I measure the kind of impact and the kind of achievement we've achieved together, it
mm.
keeps me happy, it keeps me motivated, it keeps me, I feel like I'm doing something, I feel like I'm building the future within the present. That
Awesome.
whole dynamics is just satisfying.
I truly love that. And I hear that a lot from
Mm,
teachers,
mm.
talking about the transformation that takes place. A child comes in one way and they leave another way when they
Yes.
pass through the classroom. So I think
Mhm.
that's so beautiful. And I actually love the story at the beginning as well. What led you to education to go and
Mm.
study it? When you're able to cater not just to the neurotypical child, but also the neurodiverse child,
Yes.
the divergence, the divergency in children. So that is just beautiful. Thank you so much for that. That's very, very touching. Now,
Mm.
I'll ask one more question. Um, what are the biggest challenges teachers in Rwanda face today? And how have you personally been able to overcome such challenges?
Okay. So since I'm standing in for Rwanda, I don't want to talk for myself.
Yes, yes.
So I won't be answering that as challenges that I face, but challenges as
Beautiful.
Rwandan teachers
Yes,
face.
yes,
Okay,
awesome.
as my colleague said, there is a whole difference, as people say, between private schools and
Mm,
public schools. So
mm,
let's generalize it. Okay,
mm,
I would say a bigger number of children, big
mm.
number of children, because when I do visit some public schools and I see they face those kind of problems, you will tell me if it's the same in Nigeria or
Yeah.
Kenya or Ghana.
Mm,
So I would say I saw many schools with a larger number of children, which was very hard for for the teacher to teach all of them, to focus on each one of them, to kind of like guide them. Lack
mm,
of enough resources, lack of
mm.
skilled teachers, because
Yeah.
I would say the nation or the country should, the big investments a nation can do